Hi, I'm Narnach. This is RimWorld. This is part of a longer recording session that I've decided to split into multiple episodes to make it a bit easier for you to watch. Enjoy! If we jump through the colonists, we have the farmer who's going to cut trees. Well, we have this one, the artist cutting moss. Vladimir is just wandering about. Why are you wandering about? Is Vladimir actually not capable of doing anything useful at this point? So you can hunt, you can build, you can repair. You can't haul. Yeah. Yeah, and we don't have any materials to build, so this one can't actually do much, while the other ones are cutting down trees. So this is, yeah, that's an interesting thing to look at. So let's shift this to the manual priorities. Lower number is a higher priority. So everyone has a high priority to do the basics. So firefighting, being a patient when they are sick, and flicking switches. Everyone always does that. I'm not even sure why they are priorities to choose, because since it's kind of a no-brainer. But sure, whatever. Then we have our doctor / warden do those things. The cook always cooks. Then we have Vladimir, who is also our main hunter, who will also construct and repair when possible and mine. Spend time on art when you have the time, and otherwise research. So actually, for Vladimir, the order of how the priorities are chosen is fine enough, since the priorities go the lowest numbers first. So first the ones, then the twos, then the threes, then the fours, and it always goes from left to right. So in this case, this is just a natural order of things. We want Vladimir building ASAP, which means our only hauler just needs to haul. There's no other priority for him than hauling. Let's say that cleaning is also very important for them, since not everyone can do it. So after we're done hauling, we go and grow. This is very interesting. Our primary farmer is also our hauler. And only after that do you get to do anything else. And plant cutting is lower. So the farmer will haul, then grow, then clean, because it's important to keep a clean base to just keep everybody happy. Once we're done cleaning, we cut plants, and after that do things that are related to building, because we already have a builder that can't do any of the other things. So this is just a decent way to prioritize it. Then we have an artist that can cook. So once we have some basic cooking set up, this is going to be 90% of the time they spend just cooking. After that, clean, because we don't have a lot of people doing the cleaning. After that, cut plants, do some crafting, and if there's nothing to craft, then take on the other tasks. This seems like a decent way to prioritize. And I like to tell everybody to start their day doing something joyful. So this is also a slightly different interface from before. So in the previous alpha, in alpha 10, the joy system was added. So there's the 24 hours of the day, of which you spend some part sleeping and the rest of the day just doing anything by default. And I always want my characters to my colonists to just do something fun at the beginning of the day, to just wake up, stare at the sunrise, to look at the sky, go for a walk, throw some horseshoes, play some chess, just do anything that's just fun. And then after that they get to do whatever they want, which usually means they either attend to their needs, so they go for food, and then the rest of the day they just work, because because there's nothing else to do when you are trying to survive. There's an outfit system, so currently they have a base default profile of anything, which means they can just equip all the gear that we can find, and for now that's just fine. Later on we can just say, okay, you can wear a cowboy hood, but you can't wear a toque, and so forth. Let's deny tribal wear, by the way, because that's not really good. And it is middle of summer, so let's not go for parkas or toques actually. Everything else is just fine. Because parkas and toques are very warm and very heavy. That's not something useful, and the tribal wear, it's a very low grade one-piece outfit, which I am not too fond of. So let's see how this goes now with our newly assigned system. So our farmer is now actually sowing, which is useful, because we will need it to get food. Now we have you cutting down a tree, and we have our builder still wandering. Yeah, and there's a reason that there is nothing being hauled, is because we haven't assigned a stockpile yet. So for now I'm thinking of just assigning a room here, and we can just assign a stockpile. Let's do the stockpile down here. So everything that can be stockpiled will be stockpiled, and have a dumping stockpile out here for now, or do it to the side. Yeah, then it's not going to bother us. So stones that are in the way will be put in the dumping stockpile, just like rotting corpses and things like that, and all the usable items will go to the basic stockpile. And yeah, Vladimir, they're all still sick. I mean, from the crypto sleep casket, they're sick, and Vladimir seems more affected than the other ones. So at some point he'll get over it, get cured, and then he will just operate normally. But now I'm happy that someone is going to clean up that anytime soon, as long as the more important tasks have already been fulfilled. So we're holding silver, puppet, yeah. Okay, so strapping is currently holding silver, wood. Yeah, of course I planned it out. I actually need to say, okay, let's build some stuff. So we have a lot of wood, so that's the main material we're going to use. So we assign this one. So if we break this up into our rooms, then we can say, let's add some wooden doors. Let's add one there, add one there, add one there, add one there. And then if we're going for a perfectly symmetrical setup on the outside, we do it there as well. And now we have a lot of things to build for our Vladimir. While strapping is supplying the wood. The game has a contextual help system. So there was one down there, build a room. No, that's something that we do. We need to make a bed. Yes, that's useful. So let's pause and say furniture, and we don't want to build the beds just yet. Let's just assign sleeping spots. And then later on we can just add beds when useful. Let's see if we take this one away. Now we have 3 sleeping spots on the floor, and then we can just add beds in the corners once we actually have everything else set up. Because it's more important to just have a roof over your head, like so, so people can sleep with a roof over their heads. before we actually start building beds out in the open. The early game is just always a bit chaotic this way, since you have a lot of conflicting needs. On one hand, you need to build up a base with some rooms, some sleeping spots. You want people to get their own rooms as soon as possible, because if you look at their needs, they don't like sharing a bedroom. People waking up and going through their rooms while they're asleep disturbs them while they're sleeping. This as well, if they sleep on the floor, they don't appreciate that either. And of course this one, the builder, lacks a bionic body part and he's not happy about that. But other than that, he's got food in his belly, because there were some survival rations that fell along with us, so that helps us survive for the first week or so. He's been reasonably well rested. He's having joy in things. That's I think also just the bit for just walking around, being a bit out in nature and things like that. Beauty. There's a lot of nature. There's not a lot of rotting carcasses and ugly batteries and things like that. So that's pretty good. Comfort is not too high, but that's because he hasn't been sleeping on a decent bed. So this is the worst bit. And space. As long as you're in an open space, it's good. And in this case, it's a 6x6 room, so this is going to be on the high end of space. And then every once in a while he's going to be outside and be happy about that. So yeah, of course the 6x6 rooms, they take up more space than, like, say, a very minimal 3x3. That's going to be very cramped, so you can fit less bedrooms in this way. It's a trade-off. How are the other ones doing? Okay, so no one is really comfortable. That's fair. Let's see, what's the current state of our building materials? We have a whole 20 wood. And this one is cutting a tree. Good. So once we are done with all the walls, we have a slightly decent defensive setup here. We can have a look at cutting down more trees, building beds. Actually, there's a lot of trees here, so we don't need to explicitly say to cut down trees. Yeah. So our miner is also our builder, and mining is a lower priority than building, so we can actually queue up some mining activity. Because if we are to make a fortress that's decent, we probably want to add some defenses to it sooner rather than later. And I'm thinking to build some sandbag walls in front of the door. So when enemies come from a side, we can just send our colonists out that door and line them up behind the sandbags and shoot at the incoming enemies. At least 2 of them can shoot and 1 has a very scary knife. So once that gets cut down, we can start building some sandbags, which, interesting enough, requires steel to build instead of something like cloth and sand. Later on we can build improvised steel turrets, but we need power for that, which currently we don't have. And this is a new thing, deadfall traps. So if enemies walk over it, the traps trigger and deal a lot of damage. Which we can just litter about, and as long as there's a path through, then our colonists will just avoid the traps and the enemies will walk over them and trigger them. And traps need to be manually reset, which I'm not quite sure if that's a priority yet. No, I'm interesting. Let's see, information. Okay, it doesn't say anything. Oh well, we'll see. How's the farm going? We have some corn plants, we have some strawberry plants. Already thinking. So we got a base storage. Sooner rather than later we will want a second room for food storage, which also has a some cooling in it to actually chill or freeze the items with the foodstuffs so it won't spoil. Because the strawberry plants that are 8% grown. How long does it take to grow a strawberry? Growing time 4 days. Corn takes 10 days. So we will be living off of strawberries and probably some hunted squirrels in the early future. But I don't think strawberries actually fill a lot. No, see, their nutrition value is 40%. So we need quite a lot of the strawberries to fill people up. So, but that's going to be an interesting, nice supplement after the packaged survival meals. And then we can ease into things like corn and potatoes and so forth. So let's have another look. We have a home zone. So basically, by default, anytime you build something, an area of 3 with a radius of 3 to all sides, so that's going to be a 7 by 7 area around the square, is going to be added to the home zone. And inside of the home zone, your colonists care about things like dirt on the floor and things being on fire. So if something is on fire, people will rush to it to extinguish it, but only if it's within the home zone. So, but this seems like it's just being set up pretty decently. We actually have some extra wood. Yeah, but this is good. So we can actually say furniture. Change this to a wooden bed. And we can just build one there. Okay, I think once this one has been built, then the entire area is boxed in and we have a roof over our heads. Yes, so we can say, you build some more furniture there as well. And then after that we can assign the beds to the colonists and have them actually sleep in their own rooms. So this is probably going to be the last night that they share a single bedroom. It's night, time to sleep. So we need a meal source. Yes, we do. So we've been here for a while and now we should give it a name. So what should it be called? Planeton. I think that's actually the name of one of my earlier colonies. So let's name it Planeton 2. So now when I save the save game actually has a name rather than just being a new colony. So Smee is looking at the clouds just to relax a little bit. See, joy meter is filling up and now he's joy filled. So far the mood among colonists is pretty good, and this is the mental break thresholds. So this is our smart cookie that was also a bit stressful, I think. Hey, we had an event. Cargo pods. Let's see, click the message, jump to location. See, this is the storyteller helping us out. So in this case, we don't have a lot of food yet, and this is some extra food. So we'll just unforbid that. Oh wow! There's a bunch of packaged survival meals. Okay, cool. We have some steel here. That's also useful to unforbid. And yeah. So we will be busy hauling stuff as well. And it's downside that we only have one hauler. So this is, yeah, I think I said it before. This is going to be an interesting game. There's a bunch more steel here as well, but since steel doesn't spoil, I'm actually going to re-forbid this since we don't care about it that much just yet, since we're not using a lot of steel. Hey, cool. We have 2 beds. So we set the owner here to strapping. We set an owner here to smade. That means Vladimir is the one left for this one. So this one is no longer in use, so we can remove it. No longer in use, so we can remove it. Cool, and then I think Vladimir is probably gonna go there and yep, finish the bed. And we remove it, and now they all have their own room. Let's see, we have visitors from another settlement. And they are from Mother's Valley. And if we go to the overview and look at factions, we see that Mother's Valley is the only friendly faction that we know. So that's good. So they will visit every once in a while. And life is going to be good. We have a faction here that we are not on very good terms with, but they are also in just a town. So if you manage to appease them, they won't actually they will actually be helpful rather than just neutral. And there's 3 hostile factions, but yeah, there's 2 tribes and a pirate band. So I don't think that's gonna change really a lot, since they are evil by default. So strapping is getting the packaged meals. Yeah, going for the spoilables. That's very, very good. Ancient danger. Yes. So that's this boxed in thing. It's an ancient danger. We don't want to go there. It's a dangerous place. Okay, so we have Vladimir who's going to mine out a little bit here, so we can set up a decent defense on this side. We want to do that on that side as well. Also means we should not have our storage there, our junk storage. So, we already have some junky stuff here, so let's just say this is a junk storage. Then we'll just send it off to the side. That's good. So what is our artist doing? Okay, you're helping with the construction as well. Cleaning stuff. So let's do some more drawing. But if we were to expand this a little bit, so we could say take the plants away, just extend it more in the direction we've been doing it so far. Just add a couple more rooms. This way we could add a single room that's for storage of food. That's we can put the cooler unit in, which will draw the warmth out and push it to another room, which we can then use for cooling. So we can make a nice fridge, keep things cool, put some workbenches in it maybe to do some food production, and then we have a small room that's good enough for food production at first. Then we have another room that we can use for a fourth settler, or as a for a prison if need be. If we're going to do some power generation for the cooler, we probably want to have a room where we can store the batteries and miscellaneous things like that. So let's once again expand a little bit. Actually, let's do this differently. If we add a small corridor here, we can give the colonists an easier way to navigate through. So we get a 4x4, we get a 4x4. So let's see, as far as plans go, I don't think this is quite bad for just future expansion. We can actually keep this one mostly in the rock without needing to expose ourselves to the elements just yet. And we can add to it over time, and by the time we add this one, we can do interesting things with this. So if we do some power generation and in one, and we do cooking in the other, then we have a big storage for a huge amount of batteries. Does mean that this one I'm going to have to move it yet again. So move it off to the side here. Nice thing about just moving these places is if we're not actually putting stuff in it, it doesn't really matter where they are. But for now, if we focus on just direct security, do it like that. We set up an area. We can defend ourselves a little bit. We can walk around it to go slightly faster. So we have a defense on all sides, so this is a bit of a problem. So enemies can sneak up on us from the sides here. So if we do it like this, then the last bit we are able to shoot to the sides on enemies, which is good. Let's see, let's claim these walls so we can deconstruct them. There's also spiffy new icons for deconstruction, which is new in this video. The icons, that is, not the concept of deconstruction. And I think with that, there's enough for the colonists to do. Let's unforbid those so we can just pick them up. We have a mad animal. Local squirrel's gone mad. It's this cute little critter. So we attack it for, or we declare it for huntable. It's going to attack. It's moving. It's looking for someone to attack at the moment. Okay, so this one has a knife. We don't really want to go into a... Actually, a knife fight with the squirrel might not be too bad, but if possible, it's better to hunt him with a pistol. Short range weapon that we can use to shoot more often. Just draft him into the military to clear his settings. Reset it, and then he will actually start shooting rather than walking after the squirrel. And 2 shots was enough to kill the squirrel. Poor squirrel, well, we have to defend ourselves. Thank you so much for watching. The recording was longer than my usual 20 to 30 minutes, so I've decided to split this into multiple episodes. While you're waiting for the next episodes, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. They let me know that you want to see more of this, and it helps you know when the next episode goes live. So, see you next episode.